Takers and givers, I've been called the latter, but am I really a giver if I don't give to myself?
What's up, y'all? Happy New Year, happy new week, new month, new you. It's 2026 and we're back at it again. 2025 didn't necessarily fly by, but it definitely did not feel like it took a whole year. Not at all. Okay, so I'm 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚𝙖𝙣. I am the love story architect. I write stories about Black folks in various situations, and right now I am in my contemporary love story bag. Loving Ashley, Ordinary People, You're Invited. What is it? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you. So 2025 was technically the start of my debut year. Loving Ashley, my first novel, my contemporary. I'm going to throw in urban male romance. I'm throwing it in because I've been told countless times that there are elements that lean into the urban fiction of it all, even though I considered it contemporary with the division of different genres and genre expectations of what things make up what drama. I'm still figuring that out. So charges to my head, not my heart, but I'm going to also say Love and Ashley is urban fiction. Love that book. Love that guy. Love those guys. So that was my first book back in June, I believe June 10th and June 15th, or June 10th, June 13th. It was supposed to be the ebook first, then the physical book, and there was an issue with it and the way it came out. So I think June 10th is technically the birthday for Love and Ashley. Then next we had Ordinary People that came out in October. I actually don't remember. I think 17th. October 17th. That sounds about right. Who knows? And then lastly, on December 5th was You're Invited, the holiday novel. So I put out 3 books last year, and that blows my mind. For as long as I've been on this journey and the kind of starts and stops and the self-imposed deadlines and me getting inside my own head and worrying about, what does this look like? What does this sound like? What is about this cover? What about this? I have a tendency to become obsessed, as you should. Be obsessed with your art. But having these 3 books released, and at the back half of the year, mind you, this is June, October, and December, really blows my mind. It's like riding a bike. Once you do it a couple times, it gets easier. And it's to the point now where whenever I release a book, I am always met with this desire to release another one the very next day. I'll release a book. I'm like, damn, this feels good. Let me do it again. And I'm trying to calm myself. But to know that I got those books out last year, just really did something to me, man. And it may sound cliche, may be a little over the top, but I feel like the fact that I did that means I can do anything. I know I can be what I want to be if I work hard enough. But yeah, so I love it. At the end of the year, my good friend Nay flips pages. She has a series show called Bookies Flipping Pages, and I was the December author for that month, and we discussed You're Invited. I'll make sure to link that in the show notes. The playback is on YouTube. This was on TikTok Live. And man, did we have a time. And it was a few moments when I was sitting with her and discussing the book where I was like, this is for me. This is mine. You know what I'm saying? I wrote the book and I'm writing or whatever, but this is something that I've wanted to do since I was a child. Releasing books. I've been writing since I first learned how to read and write. I've been writing. And to know that, to be able to live in the wildest ideas of my younger self is just enough to bring a tear to your eye. This is just the beginning. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records, because we get down, baby. We get So no, all that being said, 3 books in my first year, and I'm technically still in my first year, but I think I'm going to consider. Okay, let's get that together. I think I'm going to consider June through December as my first year, and now I'm going into my sophomore year because there are things that I'm trying to that I have on my head to complete, to take care of, to get done, and I have to do it whether I still consider this my first year or not. But just for like simplicity and ease of understanding, my first author year was June to December, and a prorated year, my if you will. And now January 1st of 2026 kicks off my official second year, even though it don't officially start till June, but whatever. Um, so yeah, that's that. So Love and Ashley, of course, if you're new here, Love and Ashley is a contemporary urban male romance following 2 men in the city of 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙖𝙣, which is a fictional Midwestern town, and they overcome a lot of obstacles, emotional, familial, friendship, a lot of all that, just to get there happily ever after. That was my first book. That was my baby. It taught me a lot. And then we move right into Ordinary People, which is the novella. It is what I call the extended epilogue of Loving Ashley, because Loving Ashley didn't have a epilogue initially, and the romance readers were whooping my butt. They were like, "Where's the epilogue?" So we have Ordinary People, which is the full epilogue. Ordinary People here, Loving Ashley here, and so Ordinary People follows Ashley and Misho, the 2 main characters in um, Loving Ashley, and it follows them on one day inside of a happily ever after. So, what does that look like to have a happily ever after that's not just they did this, they did that, they were happy? What does that look like to live within that happily ever after for one full day? And that's what Ordinary People is. There's some familiar faces. We get a host of new people, and then we also get some kind of breadcrumbs for something else, which is You're Invited. With You're Invited, I will say this is my thickest book. This is the thick one. Let me put them all up. So this is Love and Ashley, the full-length novel. Then we got Ordinary People, the novella. And then we got the big boy, You're Invited. And so with You're Invited, it is maybe the start of what is going to be a running theme with me and my writing. You never know who's going to be where. I've said this before. I am a nerd through and through, a dork, a geek, whatever you want to call it. I love comic books. I love science fiction. I love mysteries. I love superheroes, supernatural. I just love it all. Storytelling is really number one. And a lot of the processes that I've gone through, and a lot of the media I've consumed, and a lot of my just life has primed me for this type of storytelling. And I won't dare say I'm the only author who's ever done this, because there's always going to be an author, and there has always been authors who like has one character in one book and then they pop up in another one, et cetera, et cetera. But speaking specifically on me and myself, I take a lot of cues from the media I grew up with, which is the animated shows for kids that had storylines with some meat to them. Soap operas, crime dramas, comic books, graphic novels, sci-fi, fantasy, etc. And so something that I'm working on, and that you again will always see in my books, is certain characters popping up in other places. So in Ordinary People, there were okay, how do this isn't me not knowing, this is me trying to figure out how to, well, I'll say this. There were at least 4 characters who popped up in Ordinary People who showed up in You're Invited. But there are other characters who popped up in Ordinary People, and maybe even Love and Ashley, who you will see again in other books. And that That's me. I love it. I absolutely love that. I love that in comics. I love that in storytelling. That's always been my thing. And so for me as the author, to you as the reader, writer, consumer of my work, I am going to say, pay attention to everything. If you got to make a spreadsheet with every name, do that. Like, pay attention to everything, because even in your invited, and it may be a little, how do I put it? It may be a little, I don't know how to put it. Just know that pay attention to all names. Pay attention to some businesses. Pay attention to magazines. Pay attention to maybe celebrity names, because we're going to see these people again. Like, there's already several books planned out, various stages of completion, some done, some being fleshed out, some being written right now, that have these different people. And so one thing I cannot wait to do is to get to maybe about 5 or 6 books in, and then I can start doing the release order in the books, but also putting the continuity order, because that's where I'm looking forward to, because all of my books, I can say, will not be written in a particular order. Like, some will be written, back to back, like, okay, you read this first, this one, and that one. But there's probably 3 right now that I know once the continuity timeline is laid out, they'll go before certain books. And so I'm looking forward to that, because I know I'm having fun. If you can't tell, I'm having fun with it, and I cannot freaking wait. So if you are a fan of my work and you've enjoyed what you've read so far, just know that you're getting more of that and then some. Whew. Okay. Let's get to my word count. So I guess this is kind of sort of a writer's wrap, but not really. My word count for 2025 was 263,200 words. And that is the complete total number of words shared between Love and Ashley, Ordinary People, and You're Invited. We'll see what that looks like next year, because this year I definitely plan on pumping out some more books. Right now my books are available in Kindle Unlimited. They're available on Amazon. There's plans for that to change a bit this year, but right now that's where it is. If you want to check out some Rain Coleman books, please be sure to check there. And please, please, please give that review. With them page reads, go ahead and write that review. I think Love and Ashley is my book that has probably the most activity on it as far as reviews are concerned, but I'm hoping that will all books will increase in the number of reviews in the upcoming year. Plans for 2026 as far as books are concerned. So I'm not going to get too deep into everything, but I do think that I'm kind of riding off of a high from last year. And so when it comes to 2026 plans, I plan on building my catalog. I do have a particular number, and I may have said in a previous video. If so, find it, because I don't think I'm going to say it publicly just yet. There's a certain amount of books that I want to have done by February, March of 2027. And there's already 3 done. And so I have a couple more to go. But for this year, for the first quarter, I plan on releasing 2 books. And it is a duet series. And I'm currently right now, like, they're done. I'm just going through and like editing, formatting, changing stuff, moving stuff around, making sure that I like the ending, make sure I like the way that you're tied together. Like, I'm honestly polishing them. And so I told myself that the month of January is going to be me writing. And that could be in all forms. That could be me writing the bit that I have for these 2 books, anything that I'm changing. This is me writing, getting on top of a project that's coming later. Like, January for me is writing, because when February hits, that's when I'm going to start publishing. And so I'm taking January to be a bit of a decompression. So even though I technically have 12 months, I'm looking at it as like I have 11 months this year, because January is that transition to me relaxing, writing. And I think I'm able to do this in my mind because I do have these 2 books pretty much done. And so I'm giving myself space to like relax, because that's not something I always do. And I'm looking forward to getting these 2 books out, because Again, I stress that I am the love story architect because I think as I maneuver through this bookish space and get a better handle on genres and genre conventions and what makes this genre versus that one and how do you slip into this one and whatever else, the books that I'm releasing, I'll say, and it really isn't a spoiler, these are stories that have a happy ending, but I don't know that I would consider this new or next book a romance book. And I was talking with my homegirl, and I honestly think this is more or less like chick lit. And I don't know. I think it's chick lit. So when I looked up chick lit, because I was just calling it romance for a minute, but I'm like, I don't think this is romance. It says Google says it's a genre of contemporary fiction popular since the 1990s, focusing on the humorous relatable lives, relationships, especially romantic, and personal growth. That's the thing right there. The personal growth part is why I was like, okay, I think this chick lit. Personal growth of young women, often in urban settings. It is an urban setting, with strong female protagonists navigating modern issues like careers, yep, friendship, yep, finding love, yep. Um, so I'm thinking that this is chick lit, but at the same time, there's a young man in the book who is dealing with the same exact thing. So is that like dude lit? Is that bro lit? Like I don't know. That's when like I'm excited for people to read it, if for nothing else, from like, oh, this is romance urban 2.0, or no, this is chick lit, or oh, this is just contemporary. Like I'm still figuring it out, and I will never be shy to admit that I don't know every single piece of what would make a work fall into a certain genre. I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm okay with it. I'm just ready for somebody to tell me, well, yes, this is definitively urban, contemporary, chick lit, and bro lit fiction. So yeah, but either way, regardless of what genre my work falls in, again, I revisit the idea that you will see people in different books. So you might read the motherfucker that's in that male romance contemporary book, and they end up in that chick lit book too. You're like, oh, I remember him, I remember her. So keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, that's I think all that I will give for 2026 is that I do have two books coming in the first quarter. Well, I will also say my goal is to finish the Lover Boys series and have it out this year. Like I know, like I'll say that. I'm feeling pretty confident about my schedule and what I have planned. It may not happen. I won't be upset, because what I'm not going to do is frustrate and stress myself out behind my own work. So like let's just say, for example, I decide Loverboys book 2 comes out in July. Well, I'm going to work towards that July deadline. I'm going to make sure that prior to July this book is done so I can release it on that date. And I feel like I've given myself enough space that I can be like, oh, okay, that is a good time frame to have this book out. But I'm not going to say, well, it's out in July, and then I get to June and it's not done, and now I'm stressing. Oh my God, I gotta get no, relax. It's gonna come out when it come out. You've released 3 books already. It's going to be 5 by the end of Q1. So like relax. But yeah, I do want to build that back catalog. I want to get those 2 books out in the first quarter, and I do want to have Loverboys book series finished before. And I'll say this, even though I just talked all that mess, I would love to have it done by December 1st. Like December 1st, I want the Loverboys book 2 and 3 to be already done and out by December 1st. I want them to already be out and in hands, because I do have some ideas for maybe an omnibus or something. So that's that. So along with the plans for 2026, I would like to get back into the writing vlogs. I think I've kind of stepped away from YouTube, not necessarily intentionally. It's just been like with writing and life and the world, the state of the world. I'm an American who lived through 2024, 2025, and 2026. So you can only imagine. Well, yeah. So that's that. So I want to get back to some writing vlogs and just putting out some videos and having a bit of a hub for the visual component of reading, writing, rain. I will say that I am on Substack. I need to increase my output on Substack, not for like productivity things or catching up with anything or surpassing a certain number, but I have it and I should be using it. So that's also a little goal of mine, because the Substack, the podcast, Welcome to 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙖, and the Instagram for Welcome to 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙖 are supposed to be the three-prong hub for the reading, writing, rain books, etc., along with the YouTube as well. And so I want to make sure that I am spending time in each of those spaces and exploring those spaces and pushing forward with content. Yeah. And doing it in a way where it doesn't stress me out and doesn't burn me out. That's that's what I want to avoid. I ain't made it there yet, but I ain't trying to get there either. Um yeah, that's it. I'll wrap this up here. 2026. I'm looking forward to what you have for me. I'm looking forward to putting out these books. And if you made this far, give me a book emoji and let me know which of my 3 books that are out at the time of this recording are your favorite. Is Love and Ashley your 𝘍𝙠? Is Ordinary People your thing? Was You're Invited your magnum opus? And let me know with the size of these books. Loving Ashley is more on the regular side, because I think it's 300. How many pages is this? This is 346 pages. You're Invited is 508. I enjoy this. I like thick books. I'm long-winded when I talk. I'm long-winded when I write. And I have to, a lot of times, make myself cut back on the words. How do you feel about thick books? Like when I'm always going to have various lengths of books, but I had a good time and I love the way You're Invited looks. Just looking at this thick, like, man, just look at it. Shout out to, I believe, let me see the artist, Toby Adewole. Shout out to him for the art. I designed the cover, but he did the character art. But this, like, look at that spine. I loved it. I did this. This is all me. I did this. So, but no, thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Looking forward to doing stuff 2026, putting out work, maybe going to some book events, just seeing where I end up by the end of 2026 and enjoying that ride. And if you like my writer style, if you like contemporary, you like angst, you like a little bit of urban, maybe a little bit of dark romance, that might be coming. So just stick with me. We'll go from there. So until next time, go read something, go write something, read my book, write me a review, and come back and tell me. Rain. All right, y'all.